What's up, movie fans? Okay, guys, I just want to get something out of the way right at the start here because I feel like the title of this video kind of raises a lot of assumptions right off the bat. So I just want to say, I did not dislike X-Men 97 Season 2. I did not think it was bad. I actually thought it was mostly good. But I am slightly disappointed by it, hence why the video is that it's slightly disappointing. X-Men 97 Season 1 is a masterpiece, in my opinion. I've talked about this a lot in previous videos. Like, it is one of my favorite pieces of Marvel media ever made. I just adore that season. And something that I feel like I've grown to really appreciate about Season 1 is the fact that that season has so much going on, yet it never feels overstuffed. Season 1 of X-Men 97 has so many characters, so many plot lines and subplots. You've got like Jean Grey being a clone, and Storm going on this weird quest to get her powers back from a demon, and Professor X off in space, and all of this weird stuff going on. Yet it all feels balanced out by the main plot line of the season, which is about Magneto taking over the X-Men, trying to achieve peace between humans and mutants, and that peace being broken by Bastion and his master plan. Like, everything that happens in the season feels like it is serving that main plot. In contrast, the thing that really bothered me week after week about X-Men 97 Season 2 is the fact that this season is very overstuffed. Like, this season feels so scattershot. It has too many characters, too many plot lines, and too much filler. And as a result, this season I thought was a massive step down from X-Men 97 Season 1, which is sad to say because I was hyped for this season going into it. Like, I rewatched all of Season 1 to prepare, and it ended up kind of letting me down. So that's like the basic reason why this season just didn't really hit me as hard, but I should probably get into specifics, and with this season, I do feel like I need to go episode by episode, like I did with my review of Season 1. Right off the bat, I want to say the first 4 episodes of this season are really, really good. Easily the best part of the season. They basically follow up on the cliffhanger that was left at the end of Season 1. Like the X-Men being scattered through time and Forge and Bishop teaming up to go to the past and the future to try and save them. Like, these episodes followed up on that, and I thought they followed up on that in a very compelling way. The first episode takes place in the future, and it explores that team of X-Men that got trapped in the future. So you have Cyclops, Jean, Storm, Wolverine, and Morph. And I really, really liked everything that they did with these characters. In general, I thought that this entire, like, future wasteland universe that they were in was really, really cool and interesting. I really, really liked a lot of the action in this episode with, like, Wolverine and Storm fighting giant robots. Like, it was a lot of fun. And then the other thing about episode 1 is it has a really, really strong emotional core, since Scott and Jean meet a young Cable. They meet a young version of their son, and they actually get to be his parents for a little bit, which they didn't get to do in in season 1 when they had to send him away. And I thought that, like, a lot of that just really, really hit hard emotionally, particularly in the scene where Cable, like, laments the fact that he never had parents, and then Scott and Jean reveal who they are to him by repeating the words that they said when they sent him away in season 1. That got to me a little bit. And so, yeah, I really, really liked that bond. I liked everything about episode 1. Episode 2 was also a lot of fun. Episode 2 takes place in the present, and it is about Jubilee and Sunspot and how, like, they are basically the only X-Men who are left in the present, and they don't really know what to do. And then they get the opportunity to join a new team of mutants that are being put together by Cable, X-Force. And I thought that was awesome. The entire, like, X-Force 97 intro that they did in the episode, that was so cool. I really, really liked getting to see, like, Angel and Psylocke. That was a lot of fun. And then I also liked the fact that this episode sets up this whole government-sanctioned mutant team called X-Factor, and how, like, there's a big conflict between them and X-Force. Like, this episode did a lot of really great stuff. It also established some of, like, the moral conflict of this season, where, like, Cable is very, very okay with killing and Jubilee is not. And then I also just thought this episode did a really, really good job at making Jubilee cool. Like, I really like it whenever this show goes out of its way to make Jubilee look awesome. She started the original X-Men animated series as, like, the Rookie, so it's cool whenever this show explores the fact that now she's all grown up, she can handle herself, but that's just a lot of fun. So yeah, I really, really liked episode 2 as well. Episodes 3 and 4, which are a two-parter, are the best episodes of the entire season. Like, by far, it's not even close. These episodes take place in the past, and they feature the X-Men team in the past, which is made up of Professor X, Magneto, Rogue, Beast, and Nightcrawler, meeting a young Apocalypse. Apocalypse, the arch enemy of the X-Men, the most evil X-Men villain. They meet this younger version of him who hasn't yet gone down that path of becoming the villain that he will one day become. And these two episodes explore them trying to get him away from that path. Primarily Magneto trying to convince him not to become the evil monster that he will become, and instead become, like, more of a great mutant leader. I thought all of that was super interesting. Apocalypse has always been a villain who I've really, really liked, but he didn't really have a lot of depth to him. He was always just kind of this evil, mass-murdering maniac, and I like the fact that this episode gives him backstory. It explores how he was, like, abandoned by his mother, grew up as a slave. Like, a lot of that stuff was really, really interesting, and it gave a lot of depth to this villain who previously didn't have depth. And then I thought that the entire relationship between Magneto and Apocalypse was really, really interesting. Like, there is just great writing in this episode with their dynamic with each other. Magneto in general just gets the best lines in this show. He always has. And then, when you get into episode 4, and their plan ends up going wrong, and they end up basically leading to Apocalypse becoming the thing that they were trying to prevent him from becoming, I thought all of that was just as earth-shattering and terrifying as it needed to be, as you have Apocalypse just massacring this entire city full of people, and then you have what was, in my opinion, the most shocking narrative development in this entire season: the death of Magneto. I did not expect that. I did not expect them to have the balls to kill off Magneto in the 4th episode of this season. But they did it. Like, he actually permanently died, and I was just shocked about it. And then I loved everything about that scene, where, like, after it happens, like, Professor X gets legitimately angry and, like, insults Apocalypse, and Apocalypse is just completely unmoved by it. This scene had my favorite line in the entire season. Professor X saying to Apocalypse,
"I know your future. You'll never be a god. You will always be a monster."
And Apocalypse responding with,
"But I will always be."
That sent a chill down my spine. Like, that was an amazing interaction. Oh yeah, Kang the Conqueror's in these episodes. That's just another very funny thing that they just kind of threw in there as like a fun little Easter egg, and yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I just thought episodes 3 and 4 were amazing. It's all downhill from here. That's where the season peaks. Everything after this point is kind of all of my problems with the season. Episode 5 is a filler episode. Episode 5 is all about Wolverine and Morph going on this side quest to try and get Wolverine's adamantium skeleton back. I'm gonna be totally honest here. I don't think we needed that episode. I don't think Wolverine needed to get his adamantium skeleton back. I actually think that kind of devalues the fact that he lost it in season 1. Because, like, that was one of the most shocking moments in season 1. And in season 2, they just go back and they get the skeleton back. Like, I just think that's kind of lame. Like, I liked the fact that that was a big permanent development with Wolverine's character. Like, why can't we just have him using the bone claws? They're cool. Still, even though I don't love the fact that he needed to get the adamantium skeleton back, I still liked the episode. I thought it was a fun episode that had, like, kind of these weird, like, horror alien vibes in it. I really, really liked seeing Sabretooth in this episode, Lady Deathstrike, Omega Red, like, all characters from the original 90s series who didn't show up in season 1. I thought that some of the development that Wolverine and Morph got in this episode was really, really interesting. This episode explores the fact that Wolverine can be very, very selfish sometimes, and the fact that he basically brought all of these people here just to get his adamantium claws back. Like, yeah, I thought all of that was really interesting. It's still a filler episode, and it's a filler episode that doesn't have a lot to do with the rest of the season, because, to be honest, Wolverine and Morph don't even really matter that much to the rest of the season. So, yeah, I still liked episode 5, but it just wasn't anything that special to me. But one filler episode is fine. It's not like we're going to have multiple filler episodes in a row, right? So anyway, episode 6 is another filler episode. And I'm just gonna be totally blunt here. I didn't really like episode 6. Episode 5, I at least had some fun with. Episode 6 was my least favorite episode of the season. Episode 5 was about Wolverine and Morph, two characters who have been main characters since the beginning of this series. Episode 6 is about Polaris. Who is Polaris? A minor character who was in, I think, like one episode of the original X-Men series, and she was in this season earlier as a member of X Factor, who was apparently an X-Man. And now she's the main character of this episode. This episode is all about her leaving X Factor, rejoining the X-Men, and apparently she's actually the daughter of Magneto, which I don't know when that was established. She has like a whole character arc in this episode all about her grief over Magneto's death. I don't get why we needed this one. I didn't really care for this episode. Like, I don't know. I just... Polaris is such a random character to center an entire episode on, and then, like, the villain of this episode is the Danger Room, like, the X-Men's Danger Room just turns into this evil robot, and, like, I just didn't care for, like, anything that was in episode 6, so, yeah, least favorite episode of the season. But the episode ends with a cool little tease. The episode ends with Apocalypse going to Genosha and resurrecting Gambit, which was something that I think everyone thought was going to happen because of the way that season 1 ended. But still, like, that is an insane development, and I was super, super excited for the next 3 episodes, you know? Like, season 1 of X-Men 97 had a 3-part finale, so, like, obviously, going into the last 3 episodes, I'm excited to see how all of this is going to string together. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to do another filler episode in the last 3, right? So episode 7 was another filler episode. They did 3 filler episodes in a row, right in the middle of the season. I don't like that very much. I don't know what they were thinking with taking, like, 3 filler episodes in the middle of the season. Like, season 1, I would say, really had, like, no real filler episodes. Like, I guess you could make an argument that the Jubilee and Sunspot video game episode with Mojo was kind of filler, but even that had some stuff going on in the background with Storm. Season 2 has, like, 3 episodes in the middle of the season that just really do not matter to the plot at all, and I thought that was such a weird choice. The bright side is, episode 7 was easily my favorite of these 3 filler episodes, and the reason why, it's a Nightcrawler episode. You guys know I love Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's my favorite. He's the GOAT. And he gets a whole episode all about him in season 2, and I thought that that was really, really cool. This episode follows up on a subplot from the original X-Men series. It's basically revealed that Nightcrawler is the son of Mystique, who is the adopted mother of Rogue, and Mystique and Sabretooth are the mother and father of Great and Creed. So all of those characters are kind of in, like, this twisted family together, and in this episode, Great and Creed, who is like a mutant-hating psychopath, gets captured by this group of mutants who want to execute him, and Nightcrawler comes in and tries to convince them not to, and to show him mercy. And I thought all of that was really, really interesting and compelling. It led to some great character development with Nightcrawler, and it also led to us getting to see Colossus. Colossus is in this episode. It's revealed that his sister died during the Genosha massacre in season 1, and so he has a pretty sizable supporting role in this episode, and I thought that was really, really cool. In general, I really, really liked episode 7, but still, it is filler. And this is where I think we need to talk about why this is a problem. Why is it a problem that this season has so much filler in it? There's people online who were defending this season by saying, yeah, it has some filler, but all of that filler is important to developing the characters. Counterpoint, no, it's not. Episode 5 developed Wolverine and Morph. Okay, Wolverine and Morph don't have anything to do with the rest of the season. They're barely in the rest of the season. Episode 6 developed Polaris. I don't care about Polaris. Polaris doesn't matter to the rest of the season. Episode 7 developed Nightcrawler. Okay, fair point. Nightcrawler is important to the rest of the season, so that was important. Okay, so we have one important filler episode out of 3. That's weird. And then, while we're devoting these episodes to developing these characters, there's so many characters who aren't being developed. Scott and Jean were pretty much the main characters of season 1 of this show. In this season, they don't matter past episode 1. They don't do, anything past the first episode of the season. Jubilee and Sunspot had at least a subplot throughout the entirety of season 1, all about Sunspot trying to build up the courage to come out as a mutant to his mother. In this season, Jubilee doesn't matter past episode 2, and Sunspot, I don't even remember him doing anything of importance throughout this entire season. He's just there. We did an entire episode about Jubilee joining X-Force. X-Force barely shows up throughout the rest of the season until you get to the last 2 episodes, even though they're very important to those last 2 episodes. Why is Jubilee even still a part of X-Force after the X-Men get back? They never explain that. Beast gets nothing to do in this season. He had, a romantic subplot with a reporter in season 1, and in this season, he gets nothing. Storm becomes the headmistress of Xavier's school in episode 6 of this season. We should probably explore that, right? We don't. We don't explore that at all. We gave what should have been Storm's episode to Polaris, of all people. What was the point of adding Bishop and Forge to the intro of the show if they don't do anything? This is the big problem with season 2 of the show. In season 1, every character got something to do. Even if that something was small, they all mattered. In season 2, I felt like every week I was just not getting any of the characters that I really wanted to see, and I was getting explorations of characters who I just didn't care about as much. So yeah, that's kind of my big problem with X-Men 97 Season 2 overall. With that being said, are the last 2 episodes good at least? Yeah, I liked them. Episode 8 features the X-Men fighting Gambit, who has been possessed by Apocalypse. At the start of episode 8, they try to trick you into thinking that Gambit actually killed Apocalypse and is now the villain of the season. And for the record, if that had happened, that would have been terrible. You can't just set up Apocalypse so well in the first 4 episodes of the season and then kill him off screen. That would have sucked so much. But luckily, they didn't do that. I really, really liked Gambit as a villain. He was a lot of fun. I liked how they tied a lot of, his storyline in this episode into some of the lore that was shown known about Gambit in episodes of the original 90s series and like his hometown and where he comes from and the external and all of that. I really, really liked Rogue's emotional arc in this season, where she spends the whole episode trying to get Gambit back. I liked X-Force teaming up with X-Men in this episode, only for it to be revealed that Cable was trying to kill Gambit the entire time, and then like a big conflict between them starts. Like, this was a cool episode, and it leads into a cool finale. Even though I wish that the conflict between the X-Men, X-Force, and X-Factor had been more well developed, it was still really, really cool to see those three teams fighting each other and duking it out. It was really, really cool to see Scott and Jean fighting Cable. I thought that whole fight was awesome. Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff about this episode that I really liked. I thought it was a good finale, and it comes to a very emotionally powerful conclusion where Rogue realizes that the only way to get Gambit back is to sacrifice herself. And so she tries to do that, only for Nightcrawler to take her place. And in the finale of this season, we lose my goat. I was so sad about that. Like, I was genuinely so distraught. Like, what? We made Nightcrawler a main character in season 1. Now we're just killing him off. How could you do this to me? But I can't deny it's really good writing. Like, it makes sense that Nightcrawler would make that choice to sacrifice himself for Rogue. And so, like, I was really sad about it. But at the end of the day, I do think narratively that was what needed to happen. Season 2 of X-Men 97 came to a pretty cool conclusion. A cool conclusion to a season that was scattershot and overstuffed. I thought X-Men 97 Season 2 was good, but nowhere near as good as Season 1. It wasn't even really great, in my opinion. This season just had too many problems. And so, 7 out of 10. I'm sorry, I just cannot give it anything higher than that. I am genuinely sad that this season wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I still mostly liked it, and I'm still excited to see what they do with this show in the future. But I really do feel like in the future, if they want this show to keep going long term, they are going to have to do one of two things. One, trim some of these characters, or two, give the season more episodes. 9 episodes for a show that has like 20 main characters, it's simply not enough. And I think this season really proved that. So, yeah, there you go. Those are my thoughts on X-Men 97 Season 2. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below, what did you think of X-Men 97 Season 2? Were you slightly disappointed by it like me, or did you actually love this season and you think I'm crazy? See ya, movie fans.